All right, fellas. Bobbymoretti back here, Surviving Sports Picks, SSP for short. Uh, just going to try to continue with my Patreon setup, which you can easily go to Google and find that. Yeah, I was talking about the tiers. Um, there's uh, there's 4 tiers on the Patreon. Um, there's the $5 tier is basically just my picks for the day. I give out a lot of picks, man. I mean, guys say, Moretti, why do you give out so many picks? You ought to just, give out a few a day. Listen, it goes back to the respect factor. It goes back to the respect factor for my guys. I mean, take a guy like Don, for example. Let's say he likes the Celtics for the night. I might not like the Celtics. I might not like them as a lock pick. I might not like them as a max pick. But the way I see that game that particular night, I might like the Celtics. So it's one of my overall picks. And so me and Don will talk. We'll talk about it, and I'll tell him how I feel about that game, and he'll tell me how he feels about that game, and I'll analyze that game, and I'll give him my opinion. So it might be a game that that somebody I put those picks out there because I like those picks. They might not be my top picks, but I like those picks the way they're laid out, and somebody might be thinking about that game, so it kind of helps that guy or those guys that are looking at that game. So the $5 tier is just my picks wherever we are. At the time, what leagues are playing. I have it all broken down. My records are all posted above each tier. It's all broken down. My overall records every day is updated. So the $5 tier will have the NHL games for today. It'll have let's say where we were before the blackout. We'll have the NBA games there for the day. We'll have the college basketball games there for the day. And I had some golf there for the day. So, and 5 only sees 5. The other 3 tiers are locked. You're not able to see those tiers, unfortunately. But then we have the $10 tier. The $10 tier will be able to see 10 and 5. And the $10 tier consists of those picks that 5 gets. And then I give out dogs for the day, my top dogs for the day, and I give out parlays. Over time, guys were asking me for some parlays and, what I thought my best parlays were for the day. And so I give out parlays there. So that's what 10 gets. 15, same thing. They get everything down below that. They get 15 tier, they get 10 tier, they get 5 tier. Which is made up of those picks and those dogs and those parlays, and then they get what I call max plays. Now, some guys will ask me like, what's the difference between a max play, Moretti, and a locks play? Well, listen, I'm not a $1,000 a night guy. I do gamble every night. I do play certain games every night. I'm not a $1,000 guy, but to me personally, as a player, as a gambler, I think there is a difference between max and locks. I might like these max plays, but the locks are just a pick that, I would that I really think are, to me, with the way I see things and the way with the gift that I have. They're just considered a lock pick to me. So 15 will get those max as well, and see everything down from 15 down to 5. And then the locks picks, of course, get locks picks, max picks, and then they get the picks for the day, and they get the dogs, and they get the parlay. The dogs for the day and the parlays. I just want to go over some of the things. You got trolls out there. You got guys that are jealous or trying to cut you down and this and that. Again, I on the last video I talked about it a little bit. Listen, if I want to take, we're all at different levels, and we talked about money's tight, and you know, guys might only have $15 for the day, and they'll reach out to me and they'll say, Moretti, they want to play a parlay. What's your top 3 picks of the day? And I try to break that down for them. We discuss different games and that I got on the Patreon for the day, and I try to break it down, and I try to give them, my top, give them the best parlay I can give them. Where I'm at right now, where I'm at with the type of gambling, the type of gambler that I am. I might like Philly at minus 180 for the day, but you got to understand something. I back myself up every day. I'm going to give you an example of a guy, Mondo. Mondo reaches out to me every day. He's a smart guy. He gets it. Shout out to Mondo. I mean, he reaches out to me every day. He might like the Jazz. I might not like the Jazz. I might like the Jazz, but again, he says I'm going to go with the Jazz, and so we analyze the game. I give him my opinion, and he plays the Jazz. But he also comes back and he tells me that he's saying to me that Moretti, I'm going to go with North Dakota State. I'm going to go with Akron, and I'm going to go with, let's say, Bowling Green. Those are 3 picks that I had on my Patreon for the day, and that's my gift. I play all comers, man. I know these small schools, I know these mid majors, and I play the big boys. And so there's not a lot of guys out there that do that. They don't have the knowledge. They don't. I'm not saying that there's not professional gamblers out there that win. They do. They might win. They might have 4 picks for the day, and they might win. They might win all 4. They might win 3 out of 4. Whatever the case may be. But you got to understand that I protect myself. So let's just say I really liked that Philly game, and they won. All right, so I won $100 there, and then I got or I might have lost. Let's say I lost. So I lost $150, but I backed myself up with North Dakota State for $200, and I backed myself up with Akron for $150. And let's say I lost Bowling Green. I'm not saying I did. I might have won it, but I lost it. But I didn't like it as much as the other 2 college games there that I thought were locks picks, let's say. And I lost $50. So I won $150. I won $200, and I won $100. That's that's $350, and that's $450. And let's say I lost Bowling Green. All right, so I'm up $400. Now you got to go to hockey. I might have had the Blues, a Blues for $100, and I might have won that, or I might have lost. So at the end of the day, do I lose some nights? Yeah, I lose some nights, but I win more nights than I lose. And there's some nights where I might win just a little bit of a little chunk of change, a little good pin money, and win $100. There might be nights I win $500, and there might be nights I break even, and there might be a couple nights where I owe the bookie $50. Who knows? But by the time I got to pay my bookie, like I told you, I got a private bookie here on the East Coast. I got an app. I'm not able to let anybody have that because he's an East Coast guy and he only deals with local people. But I don't have to pay till Tuesday. I pay every Tuesday, and I get paid on Tuesday. So there hasn't, over the last 2 years, there hasn't been many Tuesdays that I've had to pay my bookie. I'm playing with his money. So so that's a little bit more about the tiers on my Patreon. It's all broken down. It's all organized. I haven't missed a day from the end of April. I'll give a shout out to Tron. Tron said a nice thing about me one time. Shout out to Tron. He said, I've been with Moretti from the beginning, and the dude hasn't missed one day. I didn't miss one day. And again, I'm going to cut this video here. I'm going to post it, and I'll be right back. I'll finish up with my reasonings with Tron and not missing a day. Thanks.